Welcome back to Everything Tech, and today we're taking a look at the Wunder360 C1 360 camera. Before we get started though, I'd like to mention that this product was provided to me free of charge for the purposes of this review, but if you want to purchase this product, I will provide it with a link down in the description where you can get 10% off your purchase. With that said, let's go ahead and unbox it. Now before we take a look at the box, I'm going to go ahead and just tear off this wrapper here so we don't get any glare. But taking a look at the box, we have the product here in the front, Wunder360 C1, and on the sides here it just shows you some things that it's able to do. And yes, the box was damaged in shipping, but if you want to take a look at some of the things that it has to offer, you can go ahead and pause the video now. And they forget to mention here, but it also does 1080p 360 at 60 frames per second. And taking a look at the back of the box, we also have Wunder360 there and some of the things that are contained within the package. Made in China, and they do have a app for iPhone and Android. And there's some barcodes there, and it does not include an SD card and requires a class 10 or higher micro SD card, which I do have. I actually have this one here. If you're interested in seeing which one I'm using, that's the one I'm going to be using. And just taking a look at this side of the box, we have a view of the camera. And here are some of the specs, or mostly all of the specs that this camera has to offer. If you want to take a look at them, you can go ahead and pause the video again. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. And once we do, we have a little packet here. But here we have the camera, the actual camera. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I'll set it aside. We'll take a look at the rest of the things that are in the box. It looks funny. Anyway, we're going to take off this spongy material. It'd be nice if they had a little pull tab to get this out of the box easier. But here we have a box and another little box here with the whoops, dropping everything. There's a camera there, and we have this box here. We're going to take a look at the first box that came out, which says C1 user manual, and this opens up like an envelope, and it's a very thick manual for a camera like this. And it says Wunder360 with ultra HD built-in stitching 360 camera, and as I suspected, it comes in multiple languages. And there's just some of the things that are included in the manual. Now I'm not going to go through it too much, but it does show you how to operate the camera and what everything means and the app that it comes with and things like that. I'm not really going to get into too much details in the manual here, so I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And here we have a black box with all the cables. You can see there Wunder360 and the cables there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this and just take everything that is in here out. And the first thing that we have is a wrist strap, so you don't drop your camera in case you're holding it while you're walking or running around or something like that. So nice that they do include a wrist strap. They do have a micro USB to 3.5mm headphone jack, and this is what they call the selfie adapter or selfie cable. It says here on the box somewhere. They call it the selfie cable. And the charging and data cable is in this bag right here. So we're going to go ahead and take this out. And it is micro USB, which is nice, a very standard connector there, micro USB to regular USB. Taking a look around the camera, we have one of the two 360-degree camera lenses, and below that we have the picture record button. And below that we have a small display with a resolution of 32 pixels by 64 pixels. Turning the camera around, we have the menu button, a small microphone, the power/back button, and below that we have a flap which reveals the micro SD card, as well as a micro USB port and a reset button. Turning it around once more reveals the second of two 360-degree cameras. And turning it once more, we have another small microphone followed by the Wi-Fi button. Here I am in the application. I'm going to show you how to activate or use the tracking feature, and all you have to do is download the video, and once you have it downloaded, you should be able to see this green guy right here, which will allow you to track people or track yourself in a video. And to do that, we're just going to go ahead and tap that button there, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll to where I am, And I'm just going to tap and hold my body there. It's easier to do your body than it is to do any other part because it makes it easier on the camera to track you that way. And as you can see here, we have two different options. We have look here and follow this. We're going to do follow this, and what that's going to do, it's going to start to track you.
So I'm using the application now.
And you can see there it's tracking me, and it's going to take the whole length of the video to track, and I'll show you what the end result looks like. Once it's done, it should say tracking stopped. Now there has been instances in the past when I've done this that it says tracking stopped but the video's not done yet. All you have to do is just tap and hold again what you want to follow, and just tap follow again and it'll start following from that spot. Now once you're done following, you see here that the timeline is all green. That's showing you how long you have tracking somebody or tracking yourself. You can follow yourself if you want and then stop following yourself and then continue as like little edit points, but I did the whole way just so I can show you what that looks like. And once you're done, we're going to tap the arrow at the top right hand corner of the screen and it starts saving our video. Once it's done saving, it gives you a preview of what the video looks like, and it saves it to your camera roll, but it also gives you the option to share it to Facebook, to YouTube, Instagram, or WhatsApp. Once you're done and you shared it where you want to share it, or if you don't want to share it, you can just tap on done and it'll save it to your photo album and it'll go back to the application.
So I'm using the application now, and what I'm going to be testing with this, and you're currently listening to me through the built-in microphone that this camera has to offer, but in this test here I'm going to be moving around just so I can test both the seam feature that this camera has to offer. It has a built-in stitching, is what they call it, and what that does is stitch together both videos from both lenses and try to make it as seamless as possible, while at the same time trying out the feature where it tracks a subject. See how well that does. And I'm currently filming in 3K 30 frames per second. And this is the 1080p 60 frames per second, and I'm currently controlling the camera through the application. And I'm going to go ahead and start making my way around so we can test out the stitching. And again, you're listening to me through the built-in microphone for the camera. And the reason why I'm walking around in a circle is because I'm also trying out the stitching feature as well as the tracking feature where you're able to track a subject in the camera app itself. And this is after you film the video. You can select it and make it so it tracks a person or it tracks a subject or it stays stable. And this again is a 1080p 60 frames per second.
I've been using this camera for about a week now, and I've gathered some pros and cons about my experience using this camera, with the first pro being how portable it is. Because it's so light and small, I'm able to fit this in my front shirt pocket and go out and take pictures without really having to worry about it being too bulky or taking up too much space anywhere. Now, it does fit very comfortably in a pocket or a purse, although I would stay away from pocket or a purse because you may end up scratching up both of the lenses, either or, and it may make it useless to use if you do scratch up or damage your lenses. The next thing that really impressed me was the design and ergonomics of the camera. It's so easy to hold in your hand, and everything is just at a thumb or index finger's distance away. So I'm able to stop a video or take a picture without really having to stretch too far. It's all here. I can switch between video modes, and because it's a roundish design, I can turn it and not really have to worry about it feeling so awkward in the hands. Here's the power button, here's the back button. I reach up just a little bit and there's the menu button, start, stop, or take pictures. And then for the index finger, I can turn off the Wi-Fi if I have to. The next thing that really impressed me was how easy it is to use the camera. If you're using this in a standalone mode, of course, it's very easy. All you have to do is just insert your SD card, or micro SD card in this case, and just get to shooting. Just turn it on. You either press to start your video, you press it again to stop, or you press it once just to take your pictures. It's really that easy. Just push your button depending on what you're doing, and you're good to go. Now, if you're going to be using it with Wi-Fi, that's a whole other story, and I'll get to that when we get to the cons. But if you're going to be using it in standalone mode, I do recommend turning the Wi-Fi off, because another one of the cons that I'm going to be talking about is the battery life. And if you have it on without really using it, you're going to be using up that battery if you're not really using it. Now for the cons of using this camera, with the first one being the image quality, specifically the 1080p 60 frames per second. I would stay away from it as much as I can because 3K records much more detail, much higher quality, although you may be tempted to use the 1080p mode because of the 60 frames per second. So I would try to stick to using the 3K video mode as much as I can. And other than that, the video quality and pictures are great. The next thing that really disappointed me was the battery size. According to the box, it is 1000 milliamp hours, which is pretty good if you're not using it as much as I was using it, but I wish they did include a little bigger battery just so I can shoot for my videos or take pictures just that much longer. But then sometimes I have to remind myself this is an entry-level consumer device. But it would be nice if they did have removable batteries, and I could buy more batteries for it so I can easily swap them out if I need to. The next thing that really disappointed me was that they didn't include a carrying pouch or lens covers, lens protectors. Now when I was using this camera, I had to be very conscious about where I was storing this camera or how I was handling it, because I didn't want to mess with the lenses and have them scratch up or damage, because if they do, then this camera practically becomes not as useful as it was before. So it would be nice if they did include a carrying pouch or some lens covers. I was having problems with the application in that I had to turn off my cellular data in order to have the camera connect to my phone and able to stream live video from the camera to my phone. I was able to easily connect to it with my data connected or my data turned on and transfer pictures and video, but I wasn't able to view the live image that the camera was looking at without turning off my cellular data. But other than that, everything is good on this camera. For a consumer level, entry level, it's great. I sometimes have to remind myself that it wasn't a professional device, and the technology for 360 video cameras, it's getting there. Although it's not completely there yet, it's getting there, and this camera here is a step in the right direction in terms of consumer usability. I will be uploading separate 360-degree videos, so you can take a look at them with your phone if you want to use VR. You can look at that, look at the quality separately, because of course I can't upload the 360 videos in a non-360 video. So I'll have those up for you as soon as I can. Links down in the description for both this product and the 360-degree sample clips. With that said, thank you to Evo Motion Company Limited for sending me this product in for review. If you want to receive 10% off your purchase, look down in the description where you will find a link to this product. And if you want to take a look at some samples for this camera in their full resolution and in 360, I will also link those down below once they're available. With that said, thank you all for watching and see you all in the next video.